found it. You guys took it.
Yeah. Somebody goes to work.
See that?
I'm exactly sure where he lives. Well, he have to be up there.
It's 46th Street.
So did the boys go to the program?
No. I don't know, I didn't know what church it is. There's some church that's a little bit closer to it. There's a bunch of my friends. There's a youth group and they go there. And they go down and send us to church. The boys that started going there with some friends and so. Otherwise they did before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes they're kind of.
Sure.
So we went out to the lake yesterday and took family pictures. It was a nice big old tree out there. Worked pretty good.
There you go.
It was warmer yesterday than I expected to, so it worked out good.
Especially been working and sweating and
Yeah.
Where I was,
Huh?
that was hotter than that where I was. I was in Houston.
Oh, you're
Oh
in
my
Houston.
God.
I mean, 70 degrees.
I'm not that tall.
Short vacation?
No, depositions.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, when Texas company sells their water districts, so you gotta go where they are. That's in Leavenworth County. I got Texas. We've got some insane drivers
Where?
in Houston.
Yeah, I've heard your nuts.
So you drove or something?
Well, no, I didn't drive there. I flew there and rented a car. So
Oh, I got you.
Because everything there is not away from anything else. It's
Gotcha.
They took a winter storm.
Well, it's really cold. So.
True. This is true.
And you made it through another football game. Yes. Stressing me out. I thought of you.
No. I think
Yeah.
All right, at 9 o'clock, call meeting in order to pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Everybody look at the agenda.
Yes.
So I call for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been probably moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, first item on the agenda is Oleg Alba. Would you like to come up, sir? Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Howdy.
Counselor. My name is Oleg Alba. I am the managing partner of an advisory firm specifically dedicated to advising counties and landowners when dealing with renewable energy decisions. I'm here primarily for three reasons. These decisions often by a lack of transparency. Oftentimes, when there's a request for information, unfortunately the answer is we're still conducting surveys.
Still conducting what?
Surveys. And the most important reason why I'm here is because this commission is on the precipice of a multi-generational decision. This decision is going to outlive the eldest and the youngest citizen in this country. What my consulting firm does is we work directly with zoning, we work with the commissioners, we help make that decision, we help get the transparency needed to get to the right decision. We have deep expertise in renewable energy. We sit on the county side of the table.
So you would represent the county in negotiating any of that type of.
As far as anything right now, you're talking to the wrong people. You need to be talking to planning commission. We don't have any regulations before us right now. So that's who you need to contact and get on their agenda and see if you can talk to them. Till I have any regulations in front of me, any regulations that we can approve, I don't know what you want us to do. I'm not interested in it right now because, like I said, unless the planning commission even gives them to us, we're done. So that's kind of my stance on that. I can't speak for the other commissioners, but that's where I've been all along. Is you need to talk to the planning commission, and then once they either pass or decline to pass any regulations, if they pass them, then you can come talk to us. If not, then we're kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, I think basically at this point in time, having a conversation with zoning and planning and expressing what you did to us, that you're here to help them through that process would be where you would start at. Ultimately, it is our decision once if we get any kind of regulations here at our desk. But yeah, that they may have some questions for you at this point in time. For me, I don't. I think I have a pretty good understanding of who you're wanting to represent. We would basically, if we had regulations, we would utilize your services to make sure that we're getting what we're supposed to get or getting the best of what we could get out of those regulations.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And I think if it ever came to that point, it would be valuable to have an asset, somebody who is working for us and not for a particular company, but helping us with our attorney. But like the chairman has said we don't have anything at this time. Just curious, when you say renewables are, does that include solar? Or, I mean, include nuclear?
No.
No, okay.
No experience in nuclear.
Okay.
What we do is we work with commissioners. We also work with zoning.
Okay.
So there's a lot of education. These decisions come quick, and then you might hear from a company one time, and then not hear from them again for a year, and then they're coming in every 2 months, and then that turns into every month. So it kind of ramps up. I've been in contact with your zoning department.
Okay.
I'll follow up with them.
That would be Kate. So, yeah. No, I appreciate the information. I appreciate you showing up, and but yeah, like our chair has said, at this point in time, there's really not much conversation because we don't know that we'll even ever have regulation in front of us. That's really up to the zoning. Yeah, appreciate it.
Do you have your contact information to the clerk?
Yeah, if you would mind, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Do you have just real quickly, do you have other clients that you represent here in Kansas
I do.
currently?
I do. I'll give you a Gray County. I'm working directly with Kieffaber County right now.
Okay, all right.
And
That's down by Wichita and
yep,
south.
exactly right. Exactly right.
All right.
Are you, one follow-up question then, are you helping them revise their regulations? Because their regulations have been in place for quite some time.
Chairman, that's exactly right. They want to get in front of this. They want to make sure they get the right regulations before they start getting developers coming in. Before they want to get in front of that. And part of this is, to give you an example, this evening I'm meeting with their zoning commission. One, it's a working session. Let's talk this out. What does this really mean? And I'm not selling them anything on their side of the table, right? And then we think through this because ultimately the zoning board still owns the decision. I don't own that decision. And then the commissioners still own the decision. I don't own it. Matter of fact, I don't get an opinion. But because I come in as a subject matter expert and I can speak to this, now we're having real conversations and we're making sure communities don't get torn apart. We're making sure the community says, okay, if we're going to let this in, what type of controls do we want? Is this feasible? Because sometimes, unfortunately, somebody will say, well, I want a 1 mile setback. That's unreasonable. Don't let it in. Don't do it. That's unreasonable. But if you are going to let it in, how do you still maintain control for the community? It's fair to the community. So we have those conversations.
Are you revising their solar regs or their wind regs, or what are they looking at doing?
It's all three, sir. Wind, solar, and battery. Because wherever you get solar or wind, you're going to get a battery eventually. If they don't do it right away, they will do it down the road. It's called co-location. Co-location is they're just putting a battery right next to it. The battery doesn't make any energy. The only thing the battery is doing is it's an arbitrage. They buy energy very cheap and they sell it very high. So they'll buy it at 2 a.m. when no one's using energy and it's really cheap. And they'll sell it at 7 p.m. when people are home and the TVs are on and microwaves go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Yep. And you can leave that door open. If you're going out, you're welcome to stay, but just have the door open. You coming back down stage with
There are,
I didn't know if you had.
the meetings on Thursday, there were some variances, that you can discuss. One of them is the floodplain variance, so.
Okay, thanks.
What? Let me start.
We're waiting on time. I have a purchase order here for a pallet of paper for the courthouse and one for the sheriff to quill $1,895.60 a piece for a total of $3,791.20. I would entertain a motion to approve. Properly moved and seconded to approve the purchase order to quill in the amount of $3,791.20. One pallet of paper for the courthouse and one pallet of paper for the sheriff. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We have here a letter from the letter and information from the state of Kansas for Jackson Water 18, stating that they're in compliance, just informational purposes only. All right, Scott, you're up.
Okay, just gonna tear a list there we got from Prairie Band about some milling and resurfacing on some roads we're gonna be doing. So that passed on to y'all.
They're having a subcontract to do this. They're doing it themselves or sub? Okay,
They don't-
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's no problems. Also, with our bridges, been in contact with BIA down in Oklahoma, and so they sent me a list of what they're calling their bridges. Their description, my description is different, so I went in and put our descriptions, and decided to launch the latitude back to them, so we're kind of waiting on that. You want to do that, or?
Yeah, I heard that time.
That way we can narrow down the bridges exactly what they're talking about, what I'm talking about. Our rock that we have for W out here, we're still trying to get some numbers together there right now, ready. It's got around $90,000. We've got about a half a mile to go to get to 286, and then that portion of rock will be completed, so sometime this week, we should be rock hauled, except for spots we have to come back and hit here and there, from the 254 to 286. I know Lynn Ritchie was in here a while back about 246, like everybody displaced. We did get some rock put down there last week. Probably not to his satisfaction, but we did take care of the mud spots that we could see, so we did respond to that. Thursday, Bryson had the cat excavator in the shop, putting the mulcher head on it, and they noticed that the first section of the boom, and then you got the rest of the boom out here, it's got that thumb on it that Dan Barnett got. It's not a cat thumb, it's an aftermarket thumb. Well, when we close them up together, this thumb has come up and constantly hit the bottom part of the boom. So the boom is kind of concaved in and the sides are bulged out. So we've got a cat supposed to be coming up to look at that to see what we can do. We think we can cut sections out and have that replaced by a cat, not us, and save that boom instead of continuing to work with this whole thing now. So we don't want to do that.
No.
What needs to be modified on that, so that it's pivot point need to be changed so that it's not doing
That thumb, to be realistic about it, get rid of it and get an actual cat thumb. Or come in and put some heavier plate on the bottom side of that boom and it comes up and it's that,
But that's gonna have to be modified by CAT
cat, right?
if we choose to go that way.
Yes. But I want them engineer or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's really liable on us.
Okay.
That'd be my recommendation.
So a cat thumb, it does not come up and make contact then?
I believe it goes to the outside. Okay. This one here is narrow, and like I said, when you swing it in, it's a little.
And this is the first time, I mean, because that's Danny Barnett's several years ago. And this is the first time anybody who was operating that machine has noticed that? Or,
You can tell it's been hit multiple times when they pull it
so
in.
my question is for the operator or operators, why weren't they saying something? That would be a conversation I think needs to be had, because they could have prevented that damage had they just said, hey, you know what, I don't think this is working quite right.
I just have to put it to the whole group because there's been so many people operate that piece of equipment.
I think it's a question that needs to be asked.
Yes. I would agree. I'd bring that up at your next safety meeting because they're supposed to be doing checks on that. And if it's
Exactly.
this point that it is the boom so far damaged, you can, physically see it. They should have been doing a walk around and looking at that stuff all along if they're checking pins, checking everything else, greasing. So, okay.
I think what we probably need to put in place is just like I'm doing with recycling and HHW, then each guy's going to have a piece of equipment assigned to them to do the inspections and maintenance and all that stuff. I think we need to probably do that with our equipment out here also. Whether it be Jay or Todd or whoever can say, look, you're in charge of this. might not run it for a month or two. At least we still got somebody putting eyes on it, that we know.
Each time.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea. I think that's probably something that's implemented sooner rather than later. So that's up to you. Make your list, make your choices, and I think I'd do it.
Let's see. The only other thing I got is a Thanksgiving meal we're having out here at the shop this Friday at 11 o'clock. You guys are welcome to come. And our interviewing, we had that second interview last week. I hope that's in the executive session for that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd entertain a motion for executive session.
So did we go into executive session for the purpose of non-elected personnel matters, non-elected personnel, for a period of 10 minutes, back here in this room, reopening this chamber, for the purpose of second review.
I'll second.
Yes, we probably move in second to go into executive session
Start at 9:23.
for matters of non-elected personnel reasons, second interview. Any further discussion? To include the attorney, clerk, and commission and Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed same sign, motion carried.
It's now, if it's killing something, no.
Oh, thank you.
That's why that thing's kind of weird.
Gotcha. Yep.
So he had to pay for one.
The only other thing I got is a rock that got hauled last week. We hauled up to Brandon on 270 X to Y, then we hauled to Y 270 to 262. We hauled to Landing on N Road 238 to 242, Eason on C Road 230 to 222, and Vaughn on B Road 270 to 278.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything you all have?
I haven't had anything this week at all, so.
Did get a call from your neighbor a little bit ago to the east of you, and I was wondering why we were grading for dust control. I told him that we do that this time of year for potholes. Keith Kelly's not getting his done in front of his house,
Yeah, he was there first.
and that's like what I said. If there's not potholes, there's not going to grade.
He completely reworked from, probably 100 foot of line. She just hasn't seen it.
I told him, like I said, I'd call it out there, which I did. And Jason said, he said there's a couple little washouts involved. And I said, if wheel ruts and you got, go ahead and take them out too.
Yeah, he needs to.
He's going
All right.
He needs to take those out.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. So on our township boards, you just want to start at the top, work at the bottom. Try to get people in to see if they want to have a discussion.
I think so.
Okay, so I would say then that probably the best and easiest way to do it, in my opinion, would be for the clerk's office to contact the trustee and have them assemble their, either if they've got a full board, do that, or have a group of people that they want to come in and talk.
Yeah, I think anybody from Adrian, just
Yes,
start with A
yes.
and work our way down.
So, like I said, I think we can start with that. So if you guys can contact Mr. Hoffman and have him get together his group, if they so choose, if they say no, we don't want to do it, then we'll just go on to the next one.
And then anybody from Adrian
Yes.
who wants to be there, just like in Banner,
Yep.
can come and be part of the conversation. And again, in the letter, make sure that that people understand that this is a conversation about how we can connect their trustee with our road and bridge to develop that relationship, whether they want to go, whether they want to go full township like we've asked other Banner, or whether it's a more like what we talked with Luke on the other night about just having a conversation on a quarterly basis or whatever that looks like. But it's not to come and have a pitch session.
No.
Do you want us to advertise in the newspaper like we did last time?
Did we advertise in the newspaper?
Yes.
We did, but that's when we had date and stuff set. I would kind of wait a little bit.
Yeah, I would put it on our website and that type of thing, and then, Facebook.
At this point, I'm just asking if they want to.
I'm just gonna see if they're
And
interested.
if they say yes,
Yes.
we'll figure out a date.
Right.
And we can
Yes, we're going to go through them one at a time. I want to bring everybody in at once because I want to make it be some mass chaos.
Right.
So I would just soon talk to each township and each township representative one at a time and go that way. All right.
So Tara, on the minutes for the 3rd, it says, Chairman Gerhardt should be Commissioner.
I'm fine with them already.
Oh, okay, tell me when you're ready.
November 3rd, you said?
I'm sorry,
November 3rd, you said?
Yes.
And where did you say we're at?
third paragraph, it says Commissioner Kelly made a motion to approve the agenda as written. Chairman Gerhardt should be Commissioner Gerhardt. Second the motion. Hey, how are you?
Hey, buddy.
Changed it.
And then up, there's another change, so the second page, maybe the fifth paragraph or so, starts out, this nuclear power facility is not a water project, and it should read, does not require a large amount of water because of the way it's cooled.
So nuclear power facility does not require.
I think the question was, where are you gonna get all that water to cool it?
We have to cool the reactor.
Yeah.
Does not
It doesn't
require a
require-
lot
Does
of water.
Right, I'm just, yeah, you did.
That's it. Just does not require a lot of water.
Yeah,
It's a cool, a cool reactor.
Yeah.
It's cool by molten salt, I believe it is.
That's all I got for now. Hertz here.
Finish up.
Yeah, we still got a few minutes before he's on the agenda. So.
I'm early.
That's good.
That purchase order.
I have decided, I'll get it, I got a pile here, I'll get it back to you.
Last page.
Last page.
Yeah, last paragraph. Commissioner Gerhardt made a motion to adjourn.
What's that?
He says Peterson don't play.
I think eventually, this little hamstring player. Get it out, let's go.
He plays against Duke.
I don't think it's.
He don't play against Duke, I'm gonna start getting worried.
Mark,
Yes.
I think, we're gonna need a general consensus, if we want to, offer a position to, the superintendent that we've been.
The superintendent.
A general consensus in open
Yeah.
session.
Rather than motion, I think that we do that's, yeah,
Correct.
that's Philip Scott, when he wants to do it, so general consensus, I would ask for general consensus, for Scott to go ahead and make an offer to the
Yeah.
applicant.
Just
Select
let him
applicant,
know that. Yeah.
the general consensus.
Yes, I would agree with you.
Same
Offer
here.
him the position.
All right, buddy, you're up.
What you got for us?
Official note.
Oh. For the electric project?
Yeah, for our
Very cool.
electrical project, after talking with Corey, which is much better than what we
Originally thought.
originally thought.
I can live with that.
That will, that total number there is after them taking all of our transformers and giving us money for those transformers
Credit.
as credit. That way, I think they've got a use for them. That way, they were able to give us more than what scrap price would have been for them for rewound. So that's why we were able to get that number down considerably. And next best thing, those are only 4 to 6 weeks out.
Really?
Oh,
So
wow.
this is something we can get done this year.
Ally, would you like a copy of that?
Yeah, I will.
If you're good with being in paper? I mean, if those numbers are what you
Yeah, he's already talked to City Hall.
So those numbers are hard and fast.
Pretty close. I mean, you
You can have a little wiggle room either
Right.
way, so, yeah.
right. I mean, that is to get them here. That's not, we're gonna have some rewiring and some stuff we're gonna have to do. That is just for the transformers.
Yep.
That whole.
Right.
But that would be huge, like we discussed.
Sure.
This gives us and I'm gonna try and take this in phases, because it's gonna be expensive. That's, unfortunately, that's the cheap part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got it in an email.
And so building out some of the stuff is gonna be.
Right, so you gotta think, there's 14 transformers there, 13 transformers.
Right.
And coming out of, the main, the original Deer Run campground, there is 1, 2, 3, there's 4, 5 transformers alone there. And out of those 5 transformers, they're all gonna have at least some new wiring coming out of them. And I'm going to try and work with local people I want to bore as much as possible.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So get it all underground.
That'd be a smart thing to do.
Because it is, there's some areas where when they ran that new wiring where they just trenched it in and, there's still bumps in the road 12 years later that they've done that, we tried to fill in, it's just,
Yeah.
When you've got the ability to, and it's not a huge amount of difference from boring to trenching, I think that's, what we're going to try and roll with.
And this will come out of your capital outlay, correct?
It's
Okay. Do you want a motion to approve? I just want the approval to go ahead.
Yeah, I just look for the approval to go ahead. So yeah, I guess if you need to on your end, because I've got it. So what Corey will do is they'll get us a bill for the whatever it was on there to get started.
$25,000.
Yeah, 25,000. So I don't know if you want to put
I'd move
the
that we-
initial 25,000, I guess.
Yeah, I'd move that we give the 25,000 to begin the project and
To
then
the city hall.
with the city of Holton.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moved and seconded to approve $25,000 deposit to the city of Holton for the upgrade of the transformers at Vander Lake. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You're started.
No, this is after Corey opened up one of the transformers that we had down there, and we were going through it, and we just happened to be looking at some of that wire, and it's like,
Oh my, close it back up.
yeah, we're like, this is the right. We're fortunate that it had something had happened already. I guess is what I'm saying. So
they must have, this company must have the ability to rebuild these. In some way. So,
yeah, that's what these are. These are
rebuild.
rebuilt. They take a good shell and then they test them, and that's test again, and it happens all the time.
Oops, that one didn't work.
But they are copper wound. That was what I was
No
noticing. Not aluminum.
All right.
So I think those will be a good step in the right direction for us in that campground, and it'll allow us, when we get to those bigger holidays for the Jubilee and some work. And what they're going to do is it allows them to put a bigger regulating system on it too, to be able to, to take the sways and current, the amp draw that we're going to have, when we get those. And so I think in the long run, it's going to be a lot nicer for people's campers, everything. And I think they had talked about when we were doing all this, putting in one central meter as well, so that would save us money as far as, I think we've got 10 or 12 out there, spaced throughout the park for different areas that they come out and read, and you're paying a meter fee for every single one of those. So while we're rewiring this, if we can put in a central meter, that just boom, saves city time, saves us money.
Yep, I agree.
The only thing that I'll miss a little bit is I do kind of like on a new building, having a one, so I can tell what my expenses are for one.
You have a good enough reading on it.
I've got, I can pretty well create a baseline after a year of.
Can you beat that one and just do, so that?
It wouldn't make a lot of sense. I mean, like you just said, that's a good point. You just take your baseline off. I mean, it's not going to change much after a full year of the building being up. I'm hoping to get some numbers to you guys on that proceeding too. If you're having looking at it, just to see what was brought in the first year, those students. Be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because we've been pretty busy with it. This first year's been a lot of on the house rentals to our contractors and different stuff that have donated time.
Right.
But it's getting out there and we get a lot of phone calls on it, to the point where we're staying busy just trying to clean.
Good.
So
That's good.
that's all I got.
All right.
Let's see anything from me.
Nope, don't believe so.
Getting some mowing done, doing some and I'll talk to Scott too, but if they're getting rid of any tractors in the near future or seeing an order, keep me in mind. And I've got that brush hog out there that it's nice for right now when knocked down. We went and mowed that along the highway and in ditches, and it looks nice. And but an older tractor, one that not an $80,000 front wheel assist, but something.
Yeah.
I know they got rid of one there a while back. I didn't know about it, and
I don't think you wanted that.
no, it's pretty bad.
I don't think you wanted that.
Have you had, any duck hunters, that kind of things, that kind of
Oh.
activity?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of deer hunters.
I got a compliment on Banner, some guys went up there duck hunting.
Well,
It was really
and so I two things. One, I'm working with the Department of Wildlife on Thursday for that 25 acres that got destroyed by armors. And I don't remember if I called them too.
You talked
Yeah,
about it.
and
Because I had called you about the skid steer product.
right, and so looking at that going forward, pretty dang good chance of having a cost share, program that covers most of it to replant that into like a native blend seed that we wouldn't really have to worry about it, as much for when we have the brome and when we're releasing it out, it makes it tough when you get the armyworms like this. And if you can get it started and get it established, I think it'll be a good way to move forward to still make some money on it and still utilize the land, but have less of a input costs and maintenance of keeping that.
Just make sure in your native blend nowadays that they don't put cerise in there. Like they used to.
Right. I know that. I heard. Yeah.
Well, there's a good cerise though, and then there's one that's invasive. So
There's a good Lespedeza.
Yeah.
But the cerise Lespedeza.
There's good Lespedeza. It's a dead Lespedeza.
Yeah.
That's the.
I was surprised. Almost all of my drone came back, and most of them did spread.
That's funny you say that because this 25 acres was sprayed twice, and we've got another tract that's right next that land owner, never said anything to me. And I was like, let me know if you see anything out there. Because I can't be everywhere at once. And they never said anything. I'm like, I was real busy there, a month and a half ago. I went over there to check. I'm like, this is all gone, Greg, I mean, nothing. But you know what, when we were driving through there yesterday, I was like, well, we got time. And we went over and looked at, I bet 70, I mean, there's still some areas in the low lying on that.
Yeah.
So, but, so I could go on for hours.
But I think it'll be beneficial to have that native grass back in.
Well, and it's better, promotes wildlife, less critical
Yeah.
that you're, an area. And, you go tell NRCS that you're wanting to get rid of Rome and that, and their eyes just go.
Even though they do understand Jackson County is the growing capital of the world.
There you go.
You can make note of that.
Okay, well, you think I defended?
Probably not.
Okay, that's fine. Good.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that'll be cool to have that back in the native grass.
Yeah, and I think there's some of it, if we have any issues with it or something that, probably will lean towards doing, I mean, if I can get the cost share program to that, and, I mean, for us in our situation, being a wildlife and nature, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Most people, it doesn't make sense to do it, because how much it costs, to put it into the ground, but,
Yeah.
Right.
but when you can get,
No cost share.
a cost share on it.
Yep.
And they let us have a drill, since we're another public, program, tractor money that I come up with. I know where I can find a couple.
I know where you find a couple tractors, yeah. Just right down the road.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right, thanks, Kurt. See you later, but
Yeah, I might have, in the future too, we're looking at right now is, replacing one of our side-by-sides that in the future. I mean, I'm looking at getting bids and different stuff right now too, that we use a lot of them out there.
Who was I looking at? Something. Oh, Valley Falls. Heinen? They're carrying something now that they've never carried before.
Can it?
Maybe so.
Yeah, I saw them on Facebook.
Yeah.
I like that, I'm pretty lucky one.
And they carry the
Lots
rock
of
box.
boxes and things. And,
no, have these two? Okay. Thank you.
yeah, this is more for spraying and going down trails and stuff, but, yeah, no, they're fucking nice vehicles.
Yeah. And they service everything over there too. That's the other thing on their place. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later, buddy.
Yep.
County Commissioners? I think so. I don't think they have anything else. Do you have time for Kate?
Yes.
Let's see.
Entertain a motion to make a change to the agenda and add Kate to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moving second to add Kate to the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Hi Kate, how are you?
These are not fully edited and all that. Those are the minutes from Thursday's meeting. Let's see. They approved these variances and special use. It's just a setback variance.
Okay.
Pretty standard. That was a hardship, special use, for aging parents.
Okay.
They approved that.
Perfect. Procedural.
The other one on there was the variance on the floodplain. That is rather lengthy. Then at this point, I don't know what more we need to do with that and how we approach that.
Who is it, Vanderbilt?
This was special use and the
Yeah.
cost and was the.
Yeah, setbacks.
I have a question about the setbacks. Okay, perfect. So, because I got a phone call about that one, because somebody had said that the meeting was canceled that night, and so the individual didn't. It was social media, and so he was upset that he was going to have to wait a whole other month. It ended up well because somebody from the meeting, at the meeting, called him and said, "Hey, why aren't you here?" And he ended up showing up and getting it taken care of. My question is, when there's an issue of setback, so in this case it was a few feet farther that he wanted to be back. When that's brought before the zoning and planning board, and if both parties, both landowners, agree, is there something that states, state statute, is there something that in our regulations that say, okay, the zoning and planning can't go ahead and just say, both parties are here, both parties agree, we're going to approve it, without it having to wait another month to go to zoning and planning.
What do you mean
appeal?
both parties are here? He wasn't there, and that's why they waited until the end to give him time to get there. So, what do you mean both parties?
Okay, so let's back up. When hypothetical, if I come into a meeting
Yeah.
with zoning and planning,
Yeah.
and I want to build a building, setback is 40 foot off the property line, correct?
That's normal.
Normal.
Like for anyone.
And I decided I wanted to be 35 feet, so 5 feet
Okay.
closer. And I've already contacted my neighbor, who it will affect, and he comes to the meeting also, and we're before zoning and planning, and we say, look, both parties are here that this affects. Can you go ahead and make that decision tonight, or do they have to say, no, we can't make that decision, it doesn't meet this, so it goes to the appeal?
So the variance is the appeals board.
Okay.
The variances are
So
granted.
what you're saying is zoning and planning cannot give a variance.
No, that's the appeals board's role, is to give variances, the appeals board. So that evening, the planning commission didn't have enough for a quorum, so we had to cancel that meeting.
Why did we not have enough for the form? We just put 3 new numbers on
I
that.
know. Yeah,
That just amazes me.
yeah. So one sign was put up saying the planning commission meeting at 7 o'clock has been canceled. The Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is still on for 8 o'clock.
Right.
So 2 signs were put up. If he came and saw one sign and
He did not.
oh, okay.
Someone posted it on social media.
Oh, I have no control over
I know
that.
you don't.
Right?
I know you don't.
Yeah. So we have had others that did not attend, and if the appeals board has questions, and that person isn't there to answer those questions, then they're gonna table it.
For
I
sure.
think that's,
My only question was, can it be changed so that if there needs to be a variance on distance off property, can the zoning board make that decision that night without it having to go to appeals?
okay, so it is the appeals board. Or are we talking about like a zoning change?
No, not a zoning change, just simply, I want to build my building 5 foot closer to the property line.
Oh, you're wanting me to have that authority to give them that,
No, explain it.
oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the disconnect here is that whenever the planning commission meets and changes zoning, it usually requires notice and public hearing, as you guys know. Variances don't
Correct,
require notice and public hearing,
correct.
to my understanding.
As long as both parties are agreeing,
Yeah, and we're not talking about a zoning change, we're just,
we're not.
So I don't have to publish anything in the paper for the appeals board?
well, I don't want to say that
Okay.
categorically, but I would say, I mean, my understanding of it is there's no statutory requirement for a variance to be published.
When and this strictly is to do with building closer to someone's property than they normally would be allowed to.
And
Because had it been within the 40 foot, it would have been approved and they would have been done. The whole conversation that I had with the owner, or the individual, was that now I'm 60 days into this process and it's getting cold and we want to get concrete poured. And so I like to try to think, is there a way that we can speed this process up for the public that doesn't require an additional 30 days to get down the road? And if there's something that I'm not aware of, great, tell me, and then that'll be the answer. But if it doesn't require public notice, and as long as both parties are there
It's more
and
than
in
just
agreement.
both parties, so it would be the 1,000-foot rule again, and notifying those people and giving them 20 days, or giving them the opportunity.
I'd have to look at the statute.
Yeah, we'd have
And
to,
the way that,
I'd have to look at the regulations.
Why would it, you're giving people that notice to come to that meeting when somebody is wanting to build, they buy a building permit
Mhm.
and they want a variance. It doesn't affect anybody other than the landowner that they're moving closer to, correct?
Well, right. I need to check the regulations, because I think it might be in there that we have to give notice, but
Okay, and that's great. That's why I'm asking the question, because his question was that it just prolongs the project because we only meet once a month. And so I said, I will ask the question if there's a way that we can speed up that one thing, and that one thing being moving closer to a property owner. Is there a way that we can speed that up if both individuals are agreed that, hey, I don't care if he's closer to me?
so are you saying then have more appeals board meetings whenever these specific
I'm
things?
not.
no. It's, I think that the difficulty here is that, I'm thinking like you are perhaps, and that the variances are supposed to be for situations where the land itself is not suited specifically for the use that's contemplated because of some oddity in shape or condition. Not that you just want an exception, right?
Right.
Because if you just want like,
Because
nothing,
it was
it's a square piece of property, any place you can build on it, but I just want to build it 5 feet closer to this line.
That's it.
And but that could, I don't think that's a variance. Because I don't think there's a peculiarity in the land which say, we want a variance because we can't build this place anyplace else but here. Because of the creek and the
Right.
waterway and floodplain. If we put this right here, we'll be halfway in the water.
And we've had these come up. It comes up quite often. And I think if there's nothing statutorily that says it has to go to the Board of Appeals, if there's nothing that, that the due notice or anything like that, then I would like to see it sped up so that somebody's not going,
Well,
I gotta wait another 6
It
months.
seems like you could have notarized documents or something.
Well, and that's,
Let's do some research.
yeah, and I think that's what I was gonna come up with, which is say, kind of explain, if somebody could send you this request, and just so I know. The area we're talking about here, it's just that distinction between, you know, the variances are really kind of limited. You really shouldn't be using them for things that some people think of. And everything else is like a zoning change, which requires all this.
For sure.
And then,
Do notice in public.
yeah,
what's
so
on
you're dealing with the public, and it's a very nuanced discussion, so the, you know, if he's asking for a variance and it fits within the variance and requirements, then yeah, it would be that, kind of that way. My recollection of the statute, it's whether your code is maybe
So
something
the
different.
variance is on the setbacks per the regulations.
Yeah.
The established regulations and setbacks. So in these cases, this was a small parcel
Mhm.
and the size of their building would not allow them to meet those setbacks.
Okay.
Hence the variance.
Okay.
So it's more for the building size rather than the setback, correct? I mean, that's kind of what I just
It
heard.
wasn't that he was wanting to move it closer to the property line.
It just had to go that way because of the
To make
size
the
of the
size
building.
of the building.
Okay, so that makes more sense than
Sure.
for me for that.
Yeah.
Because of the size of the building would have put it over the setback. So I totally understand that, and I totally understand then why you would have to have a 1,000-foot rule for notification because of that.
I mean, in most cases, in most variances, it's something like that.
Yeah,
There's either the location that they want to put it, there is some sort of issue with topography or
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's the distinction there, is that you're kind of forced for the productive use of the property to go somewhere outside those rules.
So the only thing that, and like I said, we'll have to check the regulations, but I thought that there was a notification from the appeals board as well on the 1,000-foot and notifying neighbors and getting it published.
And if it is, that's great, we'll continue with that. I just wanted to ask a question because he was asking me and I said I would find out if there's a way to speed that process up. Because he's concerned about getting pre-poured and it could get cold and all that good stuff.
And speeding the process up too is then, okay, then does the appeals board just come in as needed then? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a looking at
And
that
maybe
as well.
maybe it should. You know, if they're not needed, why have a meeting?
Well, they don't, unless there's
But
variance.
then the idea, the problem kind of becomes a quorum issue because nobody's expecting and then suddenly 2 weeks before everybody's got to come in. So if they have a regular meeting, at least they got to mark off the calendar, this is an argument.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it's same everywhere, you just got to make time, so.
You do. They do.
So
Thanks.
the floodplain variance, they approved that 3-2.
they approved variance.
And more than
3-2,
Vanderpool?
yes.
How, okay, so I was just skimming through here real quick. How can we approve a floodplain variance when it's administered by FEMA and the state of Kansas? That's what.
It's not really. They ask you to pass a model resolution, and that's the model resolution is regular. The state, FEMA just makes the map, the state kind of regulates their broad scope, and then they expect county to do the details.
So, okay, so then I'll carry that a little further then. So we just discussed last week, 2 weeks ago, about if this was allowed to stay, that would put us afoul of the floodplain insurance,
Yeah, I mean,
all this stuff.
were they?
So we gave our permission to do it.
Yeah, but
So we gave our permission to do it, so since the county did that, that runs us afoul of the floodplain insurance, whatever they want.
Yeah, national flood insurance.
Yeah,
but the does the resolution for the floodplain allow them to request a variance?
It allows them to request a variance, but there isn't anything specific on ag. And, for ag variances.
Well, I thought he was asking to wet flood. And is that what the variance
There
is?
isn't anything in our resolution about wet floodproofing, just that you can apply for a variance, but there isn't anything in our resolution either about
The guidelines for that?
I mean, it's pretty vague.
Okay, well, I mean, the first question is does he have a right under the resolution to request a variance? And it appears, at least it says they can request a variance, right?
It does say you can.
Okay. And the variance he requested was what? Just to wet flood proof it and allow it to remain?
Yes.
And they approved that for you too?
I mean, I think that puts us in a liability issue there,
Well,
as far as the county.
I don't think that's, I think that's supposed to be, I mean, if the resolution is, for the resolution you guys passed is largely a model resolution. I mean, you guys, nobody sat around here and wrote it out, right? from start. What they do is the state and the feds work up a standard form. When it's time to pass it because they changed the maps or it's whatever, they will send you the form and they say, you want to pass, you should pass this, and maybe you can put in B and C or D and E, but maybe not all four. You know, so you have some, you can modify it a little bit. It's their ordinance, it's their resolution that you're passing. So presumably, if you're passing their resolution and complying with it, then they should be able to hoist you on that because you use an authority that basically was granted by them. So it shouldn't affect the floodplain insurance issue because it's allowed. And in this instance, I mean, it's not a residence, right? It's just that outside kind of barn.
Sure, but what we were talking about last week, and it's stated here in the minutes that this is in a 100-year floodplain, okay? Then Kate, I'll ask you, it says here that they asked Giuseppe if they were anchored to the slab. He said yes. How are they anchored to the slab?
Yeah, because there was a different answer.
I mean, I can go say, yeah, I anchored something to a slab, and you know, I can put a 2x4 down on the end of it, and with a little piece of angle iron, and you know, take some Capcoms, put it in, and say, yes, it's anchored. But my point being is what we talked about last week, 2 weeks ago, the fact that if we get a 100-year flood, and it comes in and washes these away, goes downstream, knocks out 2 bridges, right?
Or somebody else's house.
Or somebody else's house, whatever.
Yeah.
Then, you know, they don't have to have flood insurance, so they're free and clear.
Well, they have insurance, but I don't.
No, the way I'm reading this, they don't have to get flood insurance now.
I don't know about that. I don't know why that would be the case. I mean, I think I always thought the idea was is that they weren't going to grant it if you were in violation of floodplain regulations. And this says it's okay, you can build that, right? So everybody should still be able to get it. And I think it's broad scope is what you don't want to do, is have it ready to go so that everybody in, you know, the county or the township is denied insurance. And I don't see how, if you comply with the regulations and what they supply to you, how that can happen. So, I mean, it might be a legitimate question whether he does have that kind of insurance.
So my question is, how do we ever deny anything a building permit in floodplain from here on out?
Yeah.
So, there's been so many conversations, so excuse me, but there's no exception for ag buildings in our resolution.
But it was obvious from the pictures and statements that it's not ag.
Right, and you wrote that too in these minutes, that
What
how
was
do
it?
you, how can we define this as,
Building furniture.
as an ag structure?
Because I thought he had so much of stuff that had his kids butchering animals or something.
No, it says here, he stated his biggest issue is defining it as strictly ag. He stated they raise cattle and chickens and he uses the building for a lot of purposes.
But from the pictures, they were building furniture, chairs, table, and selling as a commodity.
Commercial use.
Yes.
That's what it looked like to me. And so how do we ever deny anybody with now, from here on out? I mean, doesn't seem like there would be any need for it. I mean, because if the zoning board of appeals is going to approve it, doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, I mean, that's the discretion that they have apparently. And to make these decisions, I so we can further the process.
Yeah, I get that, but, and they understood exactly what the county regulations, they were given that, the board was.
So I sent you my findings, and they all got a copy of this too, the 20 days in advance, like the month before. So, and they also received all of the FEMA documents on wet flood proofing and dry flood proofing and ag structures and all of that. So.
I think we just opened ourselves up on that for a big liability, myself personally.
The new maps are going to be done early next year, right? They have sent me spreadsheets on the buildings the new buildings that are found in the new floodplain and the properties that will be coming out, portions that will be coming out. There are more going in than coming out, so that would be a task of going through those properties to see how many structures we actually have.
So I guess one of the questions that I have is, how long has that property been in the current floodplain? The current one, not the proposed one.
Since 2010.
So it's not like, oh, it just happened overnight and it's something that we just didn't know about.
Could have been before that too, but that's the latest.
Okay. So it's a good possibility that it's been in here for many years.
Yeah.
But it has been since at least 2010. This building was put up when?
You know, after.
Okay. So it's not something that happened overnight as far as the floodplain. It's been there for at least the whole time that before the building was put up and all that good stuff. So I'm a little appalled that we would even take the chance of issuing a variance like this before thoroughly doing the research. I'm surprised that they didn't table this because I don't see how this does not and how this will not knock us out of the floodplain insurance. I don't get that. I would think that they would have asked for a little more research to be done in this. If they grant this variance, what's going to happen then? From now on, I'm with Commissioner Kelly that this kind of ties our hands on anything built in floodplains now. Current from this point forward, anything built in the floodplains, everything that they put in from.
Well, not only that, it says to the general public, go ahead and build it.
Yeah.
You don't need a building permit.
You don't need floodplain map. You don't need anything.
Yeah.
Just build
All you
it
have to do is go forth.
I'm very disappointed in that variance position.
Well, I was just looking over your packet here. I mean, you're right. I mean, your the report of your report basically says don't do it, right? You got, at the very end, you got about 6 or 7 bullet points here that says don't do it. So, I mean, they were provided with a lot of good information here about that, and why not, you know.
I don't know if I give you guys that.
I don't recall seeing it, no.
I can make copies if you'd like to see what I provided.
And I guess,
What you provided to the commissioner for the appeals one? Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that too if I could. You just sent it to me email.
reminding us of that, I mean, they don't have a building permit and never did, right?
Correct. He came in and filled out a building permit after the violation letters were sent out to him. But then advised him that he has more steps before I can issue a building permit.
So there's still no building permit.
No, there's no building permit.
Okay, so I'm just saying here that, okay, so let's assume that the floodplain issue is done. What else is left for him to do before that structure is okay? Does he have to do any zoning request change, like setbacks? Or?
So that would be my next question, because this is kind of new to me too. With the dry flood proofing, there is an engineer that has to sign off on that. I'm not seeing much on the wet flood proofing application and an engineer signing off on that. To me, that's important too, because
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer, and me going out and saying that, yes, your electrical is so far up off the base flood elevation. I mean,
I would say that I would choose the same as dry flood proofing and say you've got to have an engineering, report done on the location to establish that you meet or exceed all requirements of wet flood proofing.
so that's where I was, like, okay, if the variance is gonna be granted, then there needs to be some sort of protection that it is wet flood proofed appropriately. But I don't know that I can do that. And I told them that, I said, I'm not an engineer, I can't go out.
So they're
and-
planning on flood proofing?
That's what they gave the variance.
That's what they
for.
supposedly did with cutting out all the doors and this, that, and the other thing. But, okay, so I have a question for you, Kate. So this FEMA document, is that what you're referring to right there? That they look at FEMA document?
No, that was a report, this is a report.
And that's a document 104
No, I don't have it with me, but yes, that is a FEMA document,
that you presented to the board?
yes.
Could email me that also? I'd like to take a look at that too, because they went through it step by step. I'm just, like I said, I'm appalled that they approved this. I'm just, I think this leaves us wide open.
I guess they were well within their right to approve it.
Sure.
Or disapprove it, but if wet flood proofing is the stipulation, then the individual asking for this variance will pay, in my opinion, to have a qualified engineer or a qualified individual, third party, come inspect it and give approval.
Of the county choosing, correct?
Well, I don't think.
I think they gotta pay to give a report.
Yeah,
That says that
exactly.
here's the checklist for wet flood proofing, and here's how it fits.
So if it's been wet flood proofed and there's a third party that is a qualified individual to do that, then okay. But it can't just be Bob Smith from down the road.
And I think that's fair to tell them, is that you're gonna have to have some certification, of some kind, so that the wet flood proofing meeting the requirements.
So I can go ahead and create a document for wet flood proofing that is similar to the dry flood proofing.
Yep. I would
Because
do that.
there isn't, I don't think there is that document out there, but
I think we do the same thing. It's just- And I don't think you guys granted a building permit yet.
Yeah.
This doesn't obligate you guys to do that, in my mind. So, I mean, I think there's a, did they give any particular reason for granting it? Kate, the board?
No, they just went point by point, and it was I think it fits this, I think it fits each of those points. There, a couple of them question that and do not agree with it.
So I guess without me knowing what the points are here, the 10 points they looked at, one of them says he wasn't sure about number 9. Well, if you're not sure about number 9, then why'd you call for the vote without getting further information? I mean, to me, that's kind of not good, and not having all the information in front of you or do the research before you approve it. Someone says, no, it's not, doesn't meet the definition of an ag building, or it must meet the definition of an ag building because it does not qualify as an accessory building. Well, if you're using it, if you got a sawmill mounted in there and you're using it for things like that, that is not the definition of an agricultural building. If you're using the container to store wood in for your sawmill, which is not the definition of an agricultural building. There's so many things in there that contradict everything that they were supposed to look at. So I'm just kind of appalled that they did that, but they did, so now we got to try and figure out what we can do now as far as making sure that it is up to snuff and we are not going to be liable for anything. That's
Yeah,
what
it could be a condition of the building permit that he supply satisfactory insurance for every casualty. in that regard.
I would suggest that we do some research, bring back a recommendation of what we need for next week's meeting so that we can make an informed decision.
And so if you could get those documents to us too, I kind of like what you presented today, so.
And I'll work on a wet flood proofing application engineer sign off.
Okay.
And it looks like they went back and forth and discussed and just voted on it.
The other thing was, fire marshal. Contacted me last week. He would like to see that there's some sort of notification to anyone that gets a building permit about contacting the fire marshal's office for approval or plan. The only place I can think it would fit is in our instructions where we have, you need to contact Northeast Kansas Environmental for your septic, you need to contact Road and Bridge for your driveway, or KDOT for your driveway, that we put a segment in there about the fire marshal.
Is this something new that the fire marshal's office has come up with, or?
Yeah, this is the first time I've
What's the purpose?
contacted.
What's the purpose again for contacting him on building?
Because it is state statute, and I'm sorry, I was going to print off the statutes, that every place people work together or live is required to get the fire marshal on permitting.
Yeah, and that's what I say, is this something new that has come about?
I don't think so. He said
What's the statute?
they're 31-133 and 134.
I can find out how new it is.
Said that their office just has not
Enforcing it?
been great at getting with counties and
And so they want each individual, when they apply for a building permit, to reach out to the fire marshal and explain, get some sort of document from them, or?
I'm guessing so, that, I mean, if we require some sort of letter or permit number or whatever saying that, yes, they contacted the fire marshal's office. So we're covered, or is that just gonna be a suggestion, hey, we need to contact the fire marshal?
Yeah,
I don't know the
what's in the
procedure
statute.
behind that.
I mean, I can see what the general idea is, but I don't think it's a condition of any permit in regs, right? It doesn't say.
Not on our side, no, but, I don't know. That was his request, that we inform people, and just figuring out how to inform
Do
people.
we have to just build on a house?
So he said single family and two family dwellings would not need that. But anything 3 family or more would require that. And
Okay, well, now that makes more sense.
Okay, I was gonna say, just build a
Yeah.
we
house.
even asked about ag buildings, and he said there is not an exception or exclusion for ag buildings. So,
Well, I'd like to find out. Go ahead.
Apartment complex or elderly housing, if they're building, that, okay, that
Well,
makes
that's
sense.
kind of a no-brainer.
Right, no kidding.
But not single family dwelling.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that statute's been around since '72, it's been amended a lot, unfortunately.
It's been
So
amended
it's-
a lot.
Very, I mean, don't have that many of those applications come through where it's multifamily dwelling,
I
correct?
mean, so I could put something in the instructions that if you fall under this, then you can contact, I mean, how do
Well, I
you
don't-
want me to inform people?
I mean, I would keep it fairly simple, that if it's more than one family, if it's an apartment complex or anything like that, you need to reach out to the fire marshal because they need to know, as you build this, they need to sign off on it because it's gonna house multifamily, multifamily buildings. Or if you're building a community center, like the building out, Western Holt was just built, as an event center.
And that's where this came from, but then you
It
guys,
is?
yes,
How do you know?
I got a call.
Oh. Okay.
Community building.
I guess I'm not following you. What?
There was another one built here in county not too long ago too.
Okay.
And I got a feeling that we're gonna be getting visit also.
Now I'm not following
Okay,
you.
so from the fire marshal's office, we didn't call the fire marshal when we built ours to get ours inspected too.
Okay.
And we're gonna be getting a visit too because apparently there is a sprinkler system that should have been installed, blah, 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 blah.
In the
Yes.
banner.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but I got a feeling that then there's another community building's gonna get a visit because I don't believe that there's one out there at Fairgrounds. So, that's what I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out where all of this has come from and when it started because, if you got a building engineered and it wasn't included in plans, then what, where does that come from? I don't know.
The statutes are basically incorporating in authority for them to pass regulations, so I think the details are in the regs. This is just kind of an enabling statute.
Okay.
Right. So our regulations cover it, and it should be good.
Well, I think, no, there's the fire marshal, state fire marshal is passing regulations.
Okay. So
And
there.
then those are state law, and then it's presumably the fire marshal will have right here, we go to the building and say, look over this, the regs and say it complies or not.
So would be just informing because we're not code inspectors.
Right.
We're not-
That it would just be informing them in that same area where we inform them to contact Northeast Kansas.
Yep.
Would we need to require documentation that they have contacted the fire marshal before issuing a building permit or zoning compliance application?
I would almost think that you would have to have a letter from the fire marshal's office saying, yes, we have been contacted. So, that would put more back on the fire marshal too. Because we get the same thing from Northeast Kansas, right? They come in with an approval letter.
And I'm guessing that will make it delayed a little bit.
Yeah,
For a
I'm
permit-
sure it will be.
For what?
For a permit, to issue a permit, if I'm waiting on all of these other documentations, so.
Yeah.
Only, but not for normal residents, not by
Right,
a single family dwelling.
right.
Such
It's
rules
only
and
gonna be done-
regulations,
Duplexes and single-family residents.
such rules and regulations shall not apply to buildings used wholly as dwelling houses containing no more than 2 families. So, that's in the statute.
Okay.
And I think anybody who's, I think that there's a lot probably in the regs that we can't see about
So
that.
event center, park complex, elderly housing,
Yeah, and they should,
Building,
huh? What?
an ag building,
Ag building, why would it?
he
because
said
it's
that there's no exception for ag
not apply to
buildings.
buildings used wholly as
Most
dwelling houses.
Most ag buildings don't house.
But
It's
you
not-
said there was
it's not
no
just
exception
about
for
housing.
ag buildings.
Well, it says the construction, maintenance, and regulation of access and fire escapes from buildings and all other places in which people work, live, or congregate from time to time for any purpose, including apartment houses.
So he made that clear. So I don't know, I'm just putting that.
And my thought would be that any building other than a residential house should have at least a checkbox that says, like, consult, notify the fire marshal to inspect.
But everybody that applies to build a 30 by 40
Yeah, shop
three-sided loafing shed or shop,
is gonna have to contact the fire marshal.
Well, I guess if the regulations don't make the distinction, I think it's whether people work, live, or congregate from time to time for any purpose.
That's what's so stupid. If I get 4 or 5 people together to work cattle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I got,
That's people congregating.
well, let's go rewrite the statute that, well, that's what we got. So let's find out now.
What's the difference of a
I mean,
single-family residence?
maybe the fire marshal can tell us too what he or she really does.
Yeah, he would.
They would say, well, no, we're not doing that because of X, right?
maybe he'd like to be, could we invite him up here to explain the detail a little bit more so that we would have a better understanding of what he's expecting us to enforce.
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Once again, there are no mandated things by the state of Kansas.
Well, let's see, if you just read your latest, 19.1 million.
And no, unfunded mandates for you guys?
19.1 million per county.
Yeah, see if he's
Have him
interested.
call for his office to set up a time.
Get on the agenda would be my suggestion, but I'll leave that up to the chair.
No, he needs to get on the agenda, ask questions. Lots of them.
The only other thing is that Acre Strong gentleman that was here this morning, I'm gonna just talk with the planning commission about his services and let them
Yep.
look into that. Okay.
Perfect.
Any questions for me? Any more questions for me?
No. Okay. All right, Todd, what you got?
Oh, Well, I'll be away pretty clean for that, but, well, just mostly updates on some things. I have cordially invited Lauren Lewis and Kate Camp to come and explain their rate speed intentions.
Okay.
And so I haven't heard back from her yet. That was just last week, so we'll see. Working with Jericho on the Laredo thing, there were some suggestions. I thought some of those were a little bit vague, so I'm seeing about tightening that up, but we should be good for that.
Okay.
There was a letter, I guess, did you guys get this from Phil Gregson?
The email?
Yeah, well, it was maybe sent by email.
Did you forward it to us?
Well,
No, if it's
it
one on
was addressed to the Board of County Commissioners, so it's
Oh,
yeah.
forwarded to me.
Yeah.
It would be Phil Gregson, Hanson Hutton Mudrick. It's about a complaint for the sheriff.
Yes.
I didn't know what that was about. I didn't even open it up because I didn't recognize anything, so I didn't.
Yeah, well, I think this is a new claim, so I would just suggest that you guys pass this on and maybe check with the sheriff, because he's obviously included in this, and just get it to Kate Camp as a claim.
And this was from who?
His name's Phil Gregson. Gragson.
Okay.
Peak Law for November 11th, 2025.
And it's got some videos or something on it
Uh,
attached to the email? Then
No.
I've got something totally different.
Yeah,
I've got a document
yeah.
and I've got an email with videos.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, I remember seeing videos.
Okay, so that's a legit thing.
Yeah, it's legit.
Okay, I just want to
Phil
make
is a
sure.
legit guy.
So I need to file
Yep. So
Okay.
we got a claim here. And I don't know how you guys do that for Sheriff Morris, but it seems technically separate. But they'll sort it out, I think. I'm not sure why he wasn't addressed in this. But anyway, it is what it is. It's just like,
It went to his attorney also,
no,
Tim's.
no.
It needs to.
Well, yeah, I don't recall the email. All it is, the address on the letter itself is just the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're going to get the sheriff on that too, for something else. The rest is tax sale stuff. So we have our guest. Do we?
We take a break.
Yes.
Okay.
Better take a quick break, please.
So I have a question. That building that's out here for the Santa Claus thing, that's set on the square right now, how big is that?
No, I have no idea how big that is. You mean square foot?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that big.
But, I mean, this, it talks about 350 feet. I'm just curious how big you call that.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be
It wouldn't be that big.
No.
Okay, well, I'm curious. All right.
that big. Because I went home and
I
measured
have a
my
hard,
chicken
I
house.
have a hard time figuring. Okay,
I went home and measured my
You
chicken
did?
house, yeah. I'm way under, so I'm good.
that's why I was curious how big that was.
No, I think it's probably about the same size as that. So, no, we're good on that. Well, we're supposed to look over that legislation. So do you have it here for us to look over?
She just has everything here, I don't really know what.
And all the changes were made to it?
I just brought the stuff.
Okay. right, go ahead, young lady,
Well,
or young sir.
sure, this is a collaborative effort where she corrects everything I do wrong. We get it eventually. I think there were some questions last time about redemption and bidding at the sale. The statute, I looked at the statute and I was wrong. Let's have that recorded in the minutes
That's hard.
for the first time ever. They can redeem, it's just a different process. Before they were coming to lease and just pay. They have to go to court. They have to apply to the clerk for redemption. They have to do that before the sale. Meaning, it's just a piece of paper that says, I want to redeem. And then it says, I produced funds to redeem. And
They have to do that all at the same time. They can't produce the,
yeah, they have to basically say, I'm here to redeem, I got funds on hand to satisfy.
So when you say they have to do it before the sale, does that mean before the sale opens or
Yeah.
before their property comes up for sale?
No, it has to be, there's no strict deadline in the statute, but from what I read, most do not allow redemptions unless it's submitted the day before the sale. Sale day comes around, they don't get redeemed. The thing I was thinking of was that the owners of the property cannot buy the property. Yeah. So that's the trick, is that they've got to be qualified bidders, and there's going to be a format for that, mainly they can't be the owners or family members of the owners coming in and buying. So,
And they can't have delinquent taxes.
yeah.
They can't
can't what?
They can't have
If
delinquent
they were,
taxes.
yeah, if they're not a family member, right, that's anybody's taxes, right?
I mean, if they're bidding,
Yeah,
they can't have delinquent taxes
yeah. So those are
and
the,
purchase property.
those restrictions
Okay.
on that. I don't remember what other questions we have. Those are the,
So like if somebody wanted to pay their taxes off right now, they'd have to go to clerk report.
yeah, they'd have to file a motion to redeem. It's not that, because the court has ordered something now that it's sold, it's just markedly different than our discretion. It's our discretion, you know,
So you suppose she's familiar with that,
who,
clerk of the court?
Amy,
Amy?
If somebody
I don't
went up
know.
there and
might be something just to mention to her to say, I mean, I was assuming that somebody would come to you guys first. You said, say, I want to redeem, and you would say,
Go
right,
to the clerk.
Which we've always taken it in our office.
right.
It's
Yeah.
always, they've always redeemed
Yeah.
it in our office.
and I don't think it has to be in any special format. It just has to, I think the court's got to be involved. And in fact, I'll be glad to, produce a form order for the judge to sign. It's not like we're going to stop them, but I think the distinction is that once the court orders the sale, it's not technically our order, it's our control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've handed control over to the court system.
Yeah. At least for that purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that restricted the method of payment, so we can provide instructions at the time of the sale and just say, you have to have cash, certified funds, or be able to produce the same within X amount of time.
So we can take a check.
Yeah, and then,
That's what we'll wait till it cashes.
yeah, what you do is they're supposed to receive what's called a certificate of purchase. They don't get a deed that day, right? They get a certificate of purchase that just says, I have purchased for this amount. And until we get that in, then we can say, well, we're not giving, the sheriff is not going to execute the deed to the property. And then presumably if there's some foolishness that goes on in there, that we're still in the order, so we still can say, okay, well, that sale didn't work, we can sell it later at a different sale. it has a transfer to that person. And we can have the court say, yeah, that certificate of purchase is no good because he didn't tender fund according to the instructions.
Yeah.
And then he give you a good check, or they said they were gonna meet by 5 and you were. So,
So what happens if that does happen and you don't get the funds? Does it just go on,
well, then you would set another sheriff.
well, that's what I'm saying, so then it's held another time,
Yeah.
6 months or whatever we were talking about earlier.
Well, it doesn't have to be 6 months, it could be next month,
Okay,
when its publication is going to begin on that property.
okay.
Like, did you do it by sealed bid? I thought there was a statute that said you had to wait like 6 months
I think if
and
you,
then you sealed bids.
well, because the sale didn't occur. is my-
Oh, so you're saying that property
Yeah,
itself?
because, just the individual property on that property, they get the certificate of purchase, but they don't follow through.
We've never really had that before.
Yeah, and
I got
I mean, I think people understand that that's not going to happen.
Right.
And I think I remember reading that too, that they had, that if you, but I think that's if the county is the winning bidder, meaning if nobody bids and we bid the lien that we have, and we end up in possession of the property by that, you get the sheriff's deed, then you can sell it however you want to do. It's just like anybody else, we're like private land. Do whatever we want. Seal bids, another option, as long as it's arm's length, we're okay.
Okay.
And I forgot, did I miss a question or two? I'm sure I did.
So, like, they can be given up till like, say, Friday at 4.
Yeah.
Friday before.
Yep.
Or, if somebody comes in at 7:30 that Monday morning.
I'm saying no. And I think that's fair because you're in the same boat. You got to check, maybe. Knows if it clears. I think the fail-safe, yes, the only thing is that, it's order to sell, will not be divested of anything if it doesn't, if the check doesn't clear. Because same thing would be, I would release them until the funds came in. So I think it's, if you guys feel like we should keep it open for Monday morning, I'm not going to complain.
I personally don't think so. I think Friday should be cut off, payment sales on Monday.
Yeah, they've had plenty of time.
What do you guys think?
And we're gonna reflect all back taxes, not any in 25.
No.
Is that redeemed?
So, okay, that's kind of what I wanted to know, get it put on the website. And we've got a list to send
Yeah,
information to them.
people have been requesting information?
Just to be put on the list to be notified of the tax sale.
Okay. So have you sent out a copy of the publication notice or first? Okay. You're just saying,
It's just a list, it's just notification of, when
Yeah.
the tax sale is and
well, that would be the best thing to do for that is just take the published notice of the paper date, just send it out to them and just say, this is the sale date, we're gonna come out with instructions for this shortly. And that'll start it off. Tell them that these are the best properties we've ever had. They're worth millions, so bring your bucks.
And just out of curiosity, if the property is sold and it brings more than what is owed to the county, that money is remitted to the owner?
Well, it's held to be remitted to the owner if there's no other claimants.
Right, like a bank or
Mechanics lien or something like that.
Yeah, these are the ones, there's not a lot of, I think there's one or two. more interest to them, but,
Okay.
yeah. So assuming that's the case, then they could apply for funds. All right?
I'm sure I'll be in.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get one.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. What else you got, Todd?
I think that was the updates, so. Unless you guys got something else?
We have another copy of this sales tax here. I'm trying to see.
That's right, passed it?
Now, this is one that the county wants to do for Road and Bridge.
Oh, okay.
Continue on from that.
Well, the ballot initiative for the.
Yes, that passed.
Okay, do we need to report that? I mean, I think there's a resolution that we did it. I'm trying to recall here.
Let's say that again.
There's like a finalizing resolution. I thought maybe.
No, I don't believe so. I think the county's just gonna distribute the money. We're just
Well, you gotta tell the
State
tell Department of Revenue that it was approved.
officially. So
Yeah,
the clerk's office would need to send a letter to them saying,
I was wondering if it was a resolution.
But I think when it goes through Secretary of State, I mean, they turn in the final numbers and stuff.
The election.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
I don't know.
you think it needs to be through?
Well,
resolution?
yeah, I just think there's like the ones I've done before, this is a little different because this is like a special statutory one, not a general. But you have to have some notice to Department of Revenue so they can say in the next quarter they're gonna start assessing, right? 'Cause they gotta send out the new tax tables in the quarter. And it waits 90 days from the election. So I can take a look at that square by circle on that, just to see if you guys can do it. Because I don't want to delay. That just, if the prior revenue can say, well, never got notice of it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it goes to the Secretary of State though, to do that. I don't think there's any way.
Okay, so page 25 in here, where the green sticky is, they did change the rate to 0.5. 0.05, sorry. So, pass this down, let's take a look at that.
And that's for the one that'll be on the ballot for 26.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, should he goes to us?
For the green sticky.
Okay.
Yeah, just took all the whole- There's a lot of them asking for it. A lot of them.
A lot of what?
A lot of counties and cities asking
Yeah,
for
and that's what I'm thinking.
different sales tax.
That's levy the 22.5 for the hospital.
Have you heard much from the?
Well, I think,
City
yeah,
Hall?
why don't you just send me those and
Yeah,
that's
Claire
probably
Lockman said something to me one day about
I
it.
said you would have one.
I'm ready.
Because I think you might want to do that.
About how we're going to get
I've
the cities.
never done one outside of the county since I've been here.
Well, I still think it's a countywide sales tax, right? The hospital one is still countywide.
Yes, I'm just saying.
I just don't know if the cities would, they've got it now for so long, if they depend on that money to take care of something or do something special with it, I don't know.
I mean, they can pass their own sales
And
tax.
that's true. Yeah, it wasn't anything we actually had to do.
Who?
The cities.
Some of them do, yeah, but just mean they can't pass it.
So that's all for you?
Those,
Have we got any more questions for Todd?
I
No.
All right,
All right.
thanks, sir.
You bet. You guys have a good day.
Tara, on November 10th minutes.
Okay.
So,
Let me
the-
pull them over, hold on a second.
if I always down the paragraph that starts with estimated one. Okay, and then about 5 lines down, it says Chris contacted another county, it just should say Andy.
And,
Yeah. He's mine.
that. Do you want both the first one where it went to voters and then the one where it levied, or just the one that had the levy?
Yeah, the last one, the levy.
Just the levy one?
Yeah, the one we approved, she's already done it.
It's gonna look like it's coming from this because I'm not reading it.
Right? Yeah, okay. I don't ignore Christie. So it was the top of the email.
I think he's saying he ignored you. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Can't win with these guys.
So everyone.
Could you see if you can call him? Oh, I can look my phone also, and see if he is here. If he gives an update on the sewer issue.
I know this morning he asked me if it's, if I heard anything, and I hadn't.
Okay.
So, but I'll call him. See what he had so tell him.
Yeah. Well, that was the last I heard. Is what I talked to him. That's what he said. So.
I haven't seen anything. Are you here? Okay. Did you ever hear anything from Kieffaber? Okay. Just checking. Okay. Okay. Who's? Yeah. They were just wondering about an update for upstairs, but we haven't heard anything from Kieffaber as far as I can see, so there's no email or anything. Right. some? That's all. Thank you. He's at a standstill waiting, he's not here, waiting for K-Camp. He hasn't heard anything
Okay.
on that, but he has all the ceiling tile, and he's gonna go in and paint, and he's starting doing ceiling tile before he left. And putting that in, he's just waiting to hear back so that he knows what he can spend as far as clearing. He has the bids back for carpeting. He's going to clean up the floors, keep the shampooing so that we can use it temporarily, because regardless of what we can spend, it's gonna get used before we can install the carpet.
Yeah.
And the judge wants to be able to get in there.
Sure. And I told him, I don't, unfortunately, now is the time to move things around if they want to move around, not get everything built and back in and everything. There surely is some kind of a contingency fund for the judicial district that they could tap into to do that. I would think. Because, I mean, they were talking about doing it next year. We'll already have everything back in place, we'll already have the bench built, we'll already have all that good stuff done. It just seems to me that if they want to make the swap from one side of the room to the other side of the room, that now would be the time to do it.
But it also involves moving a door, sealing off the door in that room.
I thought that was where the judge was going to come from. You know what I mean? I mean, I would think that there would be contingency, because they were saying he wouldn't have the money till next year.
Right.
Well,
If they don't, I don't know, we'll have to ask them
I
if
mean,
they have the funding. We don't, I know we don't.
I know we don't know. But that's what I'm saying. I would think that there would be some kind of contingency fund that they would have to be able to do something like this in an emergency.
What do we know about insurance?
That's what KK still had called us back.
Okay. I think we table it until we find out what K-Camp is going to do, and then
I just don't want to get
have a
too far along
conversation
on it.
with Judge Elder and say, is there funding? Because at this point, we don't have an idea even what it will cost. And even if they had the funding to do what they wanted to do, and we could do it, no questions asked, you're still probably 3 to 6 months out to get a contractor in here, because we don't even have a contractor located.
Well, from what I understand, they're going to have to replace all the carpet, they're going to have to replace the bench, and somebody's going to have to build the bench, and all this stuff. That's what I'm saying. So if they want to get back in here as soon as they can, everything's gone out of the room. You know, so
me,
you know what I'm saying?
I do. For me, it would be having a conversation with Judge Elder down here and say, can you get by with just a temporary bench?
They're gonna use what's in there right now.
From what Pat told me, that one was, they want the guy is gone and just down on the floor, no raised bench,
They're
no
gonna make
nothing.
some changes, I think, but they're gonna use kind of what's in there temporarily until they can get what they want.
Okay, well, like I said, from what Pat was talking to me about when I was asking about it, he was saying that they're gonna have to rebuild the bench and all kinds of stuff, so I don't know.
Is it Judge Elder that we need to deal with, or is it Judge Mary?
I would say Judge Elder, I would guess, or both of them.
Just need to have a conversation with them and see where they want to
I
go.
can see what insurance says.
Yeah.
See what
Go from there, let's wait and see. All right.
Yeah.
All right, has everybody read their minutes? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 3rd, 2025 with corrections.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 3rd, 2025 with corrections. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 10th, 2025 with corrections.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 10th, 2025 with corrections. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 14th, 2025.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 14th, 2025. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I believe that is all we have before us today. Linda, do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Keith? Okay. Tara? Okay. If there's nothing else before us, do we need to do anything with that legislation? Just look it over, or?
She just said to have you review it, so I don't really know what else needs to happen.
Okay, so we reviewed it, it does say 0.05 now, so I think we're good on that then. All right. If there's no further business to come before us today, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Properly moved and seconded, we adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.